Hi guys. So I took a break. I've taken a break from Darksiders or whatever else like that because I really want to start this game. Starting with this series onward because now I've enabled. I'm saving all of my recordings that I do for Twitch. Now that I've done that correctly this time, I can actually go and upload them onto my YouTube. And I will be adding my YouTube channel's name, or a link if I can figure it out, to my Twitch channel so that you guys just click on it and then you can watch it there or rewatch it if you missed something. But we are going to start this. I have not started this game. It's supposed to be a point and click. I bought it on sale on Steam. It's currently like $11.50 on Steam Australian. I don't know what it is in American. Don't ask me. I switched my Steam to Australian currency. But yeah, so do this, do that, do this. Oh God. So, do I be the weenie and go for standard for casual gamers? Because like I would have fallen into like detective like God a few like years ago or whatever. But we're doing standard because I don't want to be frustrated with all the games that I have. So.
Men of broader intellect know that there is no sharp distinction betwixt the real and the unreal. They say that I am mad. They said that two locals found me in the morning, 7 miles from the town of Windlaps. I was laughing and muttering meaningless gibberish to myself. I was cursing and arguing with myself. A raving madman with burning eyes, lost in the dark depths of his own merciful delirium. They say that I had been searching for a particular grave in the local cemeteries. They were right. If you knew whose grave it was, you would understand. So my behavior, which seemed abnormal, had nothing to do with madness. You must understand that. If you knew what had happened to me, then you would, I promise, also understand the reasons for my behavior. It all started on that cold November day. That was when I was given the case of the fugitive suspect, Loath Nolder, a man whose intelligence I greatly admired. He had returned after 5 years of traveling to bizarre locations and had become the primary murder suspect in the first case he took on. It was Loath Nolder who left Wellsmouth those 5 years ago, but was he the same man who returned? That's the question. This I will leave to the judgment of the readers of these notes. They tell me that I've been here in the Wellsmouth Mental Institution for 2 weeks now. Is it really that long? I cannot say. I do not remember the first 8 days. The doctors tell me I am making progress. I think they are lying. It takes me longer every day to remember where I am, even who I am, after I wake up from the dreams. That is why it is essential to keep these notes as I struggle to convince myself that I am really mad. Because before the night that I was found, I looked into the deepest wells of madness more than any man alive. Yes, I am definitely mad. I must be. Because everything I have seen, I have seen through the eyes of insanity's omnipresent soul.
There would be a flock of birds on that last sentence. God, can you imagine if they had birds attack you like they did in that movie? Oh, Jesus. Okay, so it's just straight point and click. Cool story. Can I go in here? What is with this tomfoolery? Why? I don't have a handle on anything. Things go somewhere. Cool. Jesus Christ. Oh no. This. It's locked? Well, duh, you left me in the room. Slap him. No.
Oh, another nightmare. What's going on with these dreams I've been having lately? So vivid. Almost as if they were real.
The most obnoxious phone ever. What the fuck is it?
No new messages. No new messages.
I just wanted to stop. Oh, it's a cell phone. What am I doing with this? Okay, who's the...
Howard, where are you? I've been calling you for hours.
I was home. Why? What's the problem?
Loath Nolder escaped from the hospital last night. I've been calling you for hours with the news.
Strange. I never heard the phone.
Check your answering machine. I left several messages.
Anyway, what happened with Loath?
No one knows. It's like he just vanished out of the place overnight.
Okay, I'm on my way in now.
Howard, are you feeling all right?
Just a little tired, Arthur. I must have overslept last night. Nothing to worry about.
Okay. I'll see you soon.
Last night? You were sleeping, like, oversleeping this morning. Oh, I got another achievement. This is some chill music. This is a serenade, dude. Alright, cool.
No new messages.
That's odd. Didn't Arthur say he left a message for me? I'd better call and ask him about this. Something's not right. Oh. No problem. I don't know why you think something was wrong in the first place. Ridiculous. I in my nightmares. Okay, that's what that says. Here's a question for you guys. You want me to read it, or do you want to just read it yourself? Um, I'll go ahead and read it. You just, I guess, put it in the chat if you want me to stop and just pause it for like a few seconds so like you guys can read it yourself or whatnot. But here we go. So preface. There are times when even the howlings of the fearful sirens are not enough to affect one, and there are such times when even the weathered moon that is hidden behind a cloud can affect and shatter a life which is in the darkness of a cave. Illusions of myths that are long forgotten affect and dominate the imagination unexpectedly. Thus, some people imagine primordial forests in which thousands of unknown life forms are living, dark cities where life ended eons ago, and deserts where the highest towers of those dark cities are now more no more than simple pieces of rock revealing only very tiny portions of the tip of an iceberg. They wander in vast crypts which are full of the permanent smell of death, and in places where one can remember the beauty and splendor had once existed, proving that no beauty and splendor can exist forever. And some folk observe fascinating and dreadful details which others miss, and even if these details are sufficient to make them crazy, who can understand their meanings? But these details are carved into the minds of the ones who deliberately missed them, and in time they change into myths which in turn induce consternation. Sometimes the past that should be dead shows itself cruelly in instant hallucinations and enchanted dreams. In such situations, a person can only have peace when he forgets everything. The fundamental thing is that really time is the only friend of forgetfulness. Friendships are not eternal. Peace is a luxury which can be obtained through eternal sleep, and for those who do not have Nepenthe. Edward Pickman. Ooh, there's a button. Good God. How many of these are there? It's like poems, like short stories and poems. I'm not reading all of them. There's no way. Like, I won't be able to talk at the end of this. I think everybody would be bored by that point. Stop it. Calm your bad self. Alright, cool. My cell phone.
Yes, Howard?
Arthur, it's me again. Sorry, I think I might have missed a few things earlier.
Okay, Howard. What do you want to know?
You called me. So why didn't you leave a message on my machine?
What do you mean? I left plenty of messages. You didn't get them?
I don't know, Arthur. I think this old machine is broken. Never mind. We'll talk about it when I get to the office.
See ya.
Alright then. I nightmare to drop the night river carelessly you slip. This painting always reminds me of that poem. I mean, gotta get fucking hobby, my dude. What is this? Oh, one of my favorite books of poetry. Dude, how many? I can't even say it because I'm like the worst. I have like a stack of books. I'm not even trying to pronounce that. Nope. Oh, Oh, you can just tell me that it's your favorite book. Okay, cool. Awesome. What is this? Oh, it's a picture of a tree. Why do you have a picture of a tree, sir? It won't. The cursor, like, I can't move it down further to the base of the screen. It legitimately, like, is stuck in the middle of the screen. And I can't look any further than this. What's in here? Is this my bathroom? It's my... Okay, hold on a second. You have a wardrobe within a closet? What? What hypocrisy is this? It's where I keep my clothes and other things. That's a fucking creepy ass. Okay. What's in here? Open it. Oh, look, a car key. I want the money too. You're not gonna let me take the money too? How dare you? Yeah, there's my car keys. Okay, it's key, not plural, because guess what, sucker? You got one. One. It's not even attached to your house keys. Forward or left? Left it is. Oh, it's a bathroom, like a creepy ass bathroom, but a bathroom nonetheless. Open it. Nothing in there. Cool. Dun, 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 dun. That was a fucking waste of time. Okay, so hold on a second. I'm not okay with this. You had a nightmare about the hallway to your apartment. Are you trying to tell me something, sir? Not okay with this. Look at that grass. The office has been mine since I was promoted since I was promoted to police detective. Okay, cool.
Wellsmouth. Never much happening here. Just run-of-the-mill cases and paperwork to catch up on. That's my normal working day. But not with this case. I've got to admit, it's been good to be dealing with something a little out of the ordinary for once.
What, to break up the monotony of your life? Like...
These are investigation pictures taken at Loath Nolder's office. There was nothing there when we first searched the place. I have examined the place several times since then, but couldn't find any clues. That office is the only property Nolder owns. He even sold his house to help pay for his strange travels around the world. So why didn't he sell his office as well? I think I'd better take these pictures with me. Maybe there's something here we're not seeing.
Yeah? You sure? Be positive. You legit just picked each one of those pictures up one by one. Huh. Yeah, this is desk. Try anything in the back of this? Nope. On to the next. I have no clue how to play this game. We're rolling with it. Pardon me, sorry guys. What the fuck am I supposed to be looking for? Register of deaths, Clark Field. He was single, he was a white male. Born, I'm gonna assume that it's going by American dates, so it would have been March 11th, 1976. Portside Walsmouth. Birth number. He died October 21st, 2011. He is the owner of the Air W&L Company. Northwood Forest. Forland Street, Portside. He was there for 4 days. Jesus. And he was buried. God. 6 days later he was buried. He was suffocated to death. Cool. Cool story. The informant was Morse Digger. And that was like the day before he was buried is when that was signed. Okay. The deceased was found on the borders of the Northwood Forest, about 85 miles north of Walsmouth Town Center. An ID was found on him, and for identification, his brother, Jonathan Field, was summoned. He identified the deceased and added that he had been missing for some time. He explained that he hadn't reported this to the police since he had received a packet with a letter which told him not to do so. He said that he had hired a private detective, Loath Nolder, to find his brother and had given the aforementioned packet to him. So, there's stuff in his office. Can't even go on my own computer. What the hell? I got nothing. Okay. Cool, let's go. Here. Bye. Hear that thunder? Bring it to you. Loath Nolder's office. Nothing was found during the police investigation because every record had been strangely effaced. The office has a hushed, expectant air, as though it is hiding secrets and has been waiting 5 years for Loath Nolder's return. Well, that makes me want to walk in here.
There wasn't this much mess the last time I was here.
Well, yeah,
It's been sealed for police investigation, but someone's been in here. Who was it? And why? There is nothing important here. It's almost empty.
is 5 years old. This must be from just prior to his sudden disappearance. Visited. I can't. Could you repeat it? Travel abroad. He visited African and Ocean countries. Okay, cool. Stop it. Keep like right clicking to like back up, like. Go that way. I swear to God, something's gonna jump out at me and I'm gonna piss my pants. Earthquake hit Brixton just after 3 a.m. An earthquake of magnitude 6.1 hit Brixton, a small town about 18 miles northwest of Wallsmouth. Around 3 a.m. At present, it is reported that 18 people were killed by the earthquake and 137 people were injured. 9 houses collapsed and many more were severely damaged. It further reported that there are still people buried underneath the collapsed houses. By chance, Thomas Cook, one of the reporters of the local newspaper, was at the town center. He told us about the moment the earthquake occurred. It was a shocking moment. Every building was shaken. Then people started to scream. I could see them jumping from their balconies and windows to save their lives. I have never seen anything like that in my life. The quake was felt strongly in the downtown Walmart. Nobody died, but 59 people were injured in the panic caused by the earthquake. Most people spent the night out in their cars or in parks. Officials warned people not to stay in the damaged houses and to be ready for possible aftershocks. None of the buildings in Wallsmouth collapsed, but a further ... Alright. Exciting coincidence. Recently, in a coal mine that belongs to the Big Mole Mining Corp. In the town of Brixton, an exciting coincidence occurred. Many archaeologists consider this the most mysterious and exciting discovery in recent years. A room was found with its entrance covered with figures, reliefs, and unexplained drawings. It is explained that this could possibly be a part of some prehistoric underground region of a settlement. The operation of the mine was stopped immediately until a complete investigation of the region is carried out. The first archaeologist who investigated the region, David R. Heidson, explained that the remains do not belong to any civilization known to date and that they are from very ancient times. Definitive conclusions will be available only after a complete examination. Dun, dun, dun. And this was the same year as his other calendar. I can't see jack dilly squat. Thank you. Good lord. Wallsmouth myths and legends of an ancient town. Okay, there it is. This book is about folk myths of Wallsmouth. I vaguely remember my grandfather telling me some of them. Oh god, I'm gonna have to read all this, won't I? Because it's a detective story and I gotta know what every little thing is. Okay, preface, this work has been prepared. This work has been prepared in order to collect the folk myths of the town of Wallsmouth into a coherent source. As is generally known, Wallsmouth is a settlement that was built during medieval times. Precise dates are not known, and due to the high mountains surrounding it, always lived apart from the other settlements. For this reason, I don't want a hint. Get off my screen, dickhead. For this reason, ethnologists are drawn to investigate the history of such an insular region. Investigating and compiling the folk myths of an area such as Wallsmouth creates a rich ethnological body of knowledge which can provide information about the surrounding region. P.S. I want to thank my friend Alfonso Gray, who worked with me on some parts of this book. Amateur ethnologist, Shenbridge. That was one of the people in here, right? Should be. Let me know if I am correct. Uther's Curse. Uther's Curse myth may be one of the oldest myths of the region, although controversy surrounds its origins. The generally accepted version goes back to ancient times, a natural phenomenon which occurs every year at particular times on the North Wood Mountain cannot be explained completely even today. Strong winds, which with horrible rumblings spray dust and small stone pieces throughout some caves and cracked rocks in the Northwood Mountains. These pieces of stone rain down onto the nearby towns and are seen after a strong earthquake, which is different than the ordinary small ones which happen in the Wallsmoth first-degree earthquake zone. It is a known fact that the first settlement of the Wallsmoth district was set up in the forest-clad Northwood region where, because of its altitude, the climate was generally harsh during most of the year. This region also includes Northwood Mountain, which is mentioned in many of the myths. The large Northwood forest covers the area like a thick blanket up to the foot of the mountain and out of a few glades, and provides no suitable place for habitation. But in these glades, the soil is very fertile and abundant, and hence a small town was built around the Wolf Spray Pond, which also gave its name to the town. But later, the name of the town was changed to Winlaps. So creative. Okay. According to the Ether's Curse myth, the folk of Wolf Spray encountered a small, harsh-looking, hostile folk who for a long time lived on some of the plateaus on the Northwood Mountain. They found some of the traditions and behavior of these people, who called themselves Ether, absolutely disgusting. After a time when some strange disappearances started to occur, everyone started to be uncomfortable in the Ether, who were forcibly driven out from the plateaus on which they were living. After this incident, it is said that the Ether's Curse started, and it is widely believed that this is the price for that banishment. Very strange things were said about the traditions of the Ether, which made the folk of Wolfspray very apprehensive. It is related to the rites of Ether that one night a group of people were sent to see what was happening on the plateaus, and when they returned, they were unable to speak because of fear. Only the next morning could they fearfully whisper about what they saw, including the fate of those who were abducted from their town. It is said that the Ether were a devil breed who sometimes in a dark and deep cave worshipped loathsome idols, offered sacrifices to them by dancing to the accompaniment of monotonous music, and summoned something from below hell by hitting their palms on the ground. Today, some habitations were found in the archaeological excavations, but none of these caves in that region contain idols similar to those mentioned in the myths. This doesn't make me wanna explore, dude. Oh, that's dumb. Stop it. mean, who? I swear to God, if anything pops out at me. What could be different about it? Oh. You need something to open it with. I got a car key. No, this won't work. What do you mean? I open boxes with tape on it. Just put the key to the box and it's the same thing. You might have to solve for a little bit, but you could do it. I've got faith in you. The line is dead. Huh. I gotta come back with a fucking knife or something, don't I? God damn it. Uh, my apartment where I've resided for a long time. I am not staying here merely because of its low price, but for the silence that I prefer. Only poor people and artists live in places like this. Uh, Alright, give me a second, guys. I gotta, I gotta run to the bathroom pretty quickly. Give me 1 second. So I will be right back. Sorry about that. I suffer from IBS, so sometimes I have no choice. Um, like I usually time it pretty well between like playthroughs and stuff, but there's times, obviously like now, where I can't do that. So, and the body wants what the body wants. All right, cool. All right, so oh, that's a toilet. Why can't I go into whatever room I want in my own fucking house? Alright, I can't see shit. Alright, let's see if that works out a little bit better. Because I don't know about you guys if it If you're having the same issues I was having. Yeah, see, I can kind of see it a little bit more now. But there's one way to check this, and that's to go to the dank ass bathroom I own. No, I walked out of my own apartment. That's not what I meant to do. Yeah, see, I can tell a little bit easier that like what is that exactly in here, which is always great. Okay, cool. Oh my god. This is super fucking annoying. So there's Northwood Forest where that one guy died. Yeah. Got it. What am I missing? I have a reason to call right now. I just want to phone a friend. Because I obviously can't find a pair of fucking scissors or a knife. Yeah, I don't even have a kitchen. Unless it's the one room that I can't get into. No. This won't work. Come on, you gotta just please be a tryhard. Just this once. I don't know what to do. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. A letter opener. Uh, oh, it got that far. Let me go back to my office. See what that leads me, and I need control options. Like this is. Yeah. It's not doing anything. Like that's my issue. How do you? But see, here's the thing though. Like, oh, you fucking shitting me, right? Oh, that's annoying. Jonathan, you know that I like to stick to the point. I'm writing this note to you because I know that shortly something bad is going to happen to me. For about 4 months now, we haven't seen each other, and I didn't reveal my location because I knew that as long as I was looking after the company and keeping things in order, you wouldn't worry about me. I will speak plainly. I know that you don't like me and the feeling is mutual, but this is not the time for such matters. About a year ago, I bought a house in the old northern quarter, and I was living there during the gradually increasing time periods when we didn't speak to each other. True to my nature, mysteries of olden times have always attracted me much more than anything else, and you also know that I never wanted to mention my present situation either to you nor to anyone else. In fact, up until 2 months ago, I never even considered such a thing, and now, despite the inconceivable nature of the situation that I am in, I can hardly suppress my feelings of reluctance. You can call this a sort of childish jealousy, but I don't care. Right now it is impossible to tell you what has happened. If you wonder, you can acquire a little information from my notes, which I have included in this package. There is just one thing I want from you. Do not go there and sell it any way you can. Do this both for you and for our family's honor, and don't go to the police regarding this affair. Don't go, whatever happens. You can find the address below. We will not meet again. Take care, Clark. Address North End Street, number 43, Northwood. I could underline? Oh, so if it's not important, it won't underline it. Cool. It's good to know. Oh, what the shit? Clark Field warned his brother not to go there, but why? I haven't found all the clues? Mention a statement. Good luck finding them. Fucking obnoxious. Is that all we got? Cool. What time is it? It's almost 3. Okay. Finished with that one. Oh, that's okay. Oh, is this... Whose is this? Because this is dated the, January 3rd, 2011, okay. I decided to write these notes precisely 1 month after I bought this house, in which I have found myself lost in thought, adrift in its dim silence. I escape the meaningless monotony of my life by listening to every creak, every sound the house makes. I may not write often, but I think that these notes are important. I found this house only by an astonishing coincidence. I had gotten lost in the snow-covered narrow streets of this part of the city while I was wandering. I felt an awe, as though I were adrift in some misty past. I awoke from my wonder and strove to find the way back. That is how I came to this house. Its majestic appearance attracted my attention. For some time, I had wanted a place to come from time to time to listen to this overlooked world of the past that no one knows and where no one wants to come. I found a barely legible metal plate on the half-ruined garden wall that showed the number of the house. It was covered with rust, probably as old as the house itself. Without hesitation, I recorded this number in my digital organizer, which I bought some time ago because of my increasing forgetfulness. When I inspected it from the outside, it was obvious that no one lived there at the time. I examined it in order to learn if it was for sale or not, and I can't describe my feelings when I found the person who was selling it. Later, I talked to the vendor, and with a happy smile on his face, I remember he said that he never came here before the house had been left to his company because of a mortgage, and he wanted to sell it right away, but never thought that this would happen. He didn't know anything about the house, and in fact, I wouldn't have cared if he had. I bought it without hesitation. There is one point that I don't want to continue without mentioning. After I bought the house, I learned that it had another admirer who had introduced himself as Ivar Bergen, a Norwegian immigrant. Judging from his appearance, it was obvious that he was a wealthy person. I remember that he said when we first met that he was also an aspiring owner, but it seemed that he was too late. Or just in time. So, 15 days later, he writes again. This house is an old and real place beyond my imagination. I cannot stop thinking of what it would say if walls could talk. Some of the surrounding houses have been abandoned and shunned by people and are on the brink of collapse. A few of them even collapsed a long time ago. It makes me wonder as to the probability of restoration having been done fairly recently, since the house is still standing firm and strong. I am sure that this house is as old as the surrounding ones. Maybe the main reason for the bad reputation of this quarter is the different rumors that are often spread about some of the abandoned houses. These rumors recount how these houses have sometimes had bad owners, including some unknown foreigners. Some people in the town consider the crime rate to be high here, but that has not been my experience. The inhabitants of the neighborhood keep very much to themselves and don't socialize frequently, other than to gossip quietly amongst themselves. Almost a month later, I've started getting to know Ivar Bergen and can say that our interests coincide almost completely. He visited me after our first meeting, and we took the opportunity to talk at length. He managed to enchant me with his vast knowledge of mystic subjects. We talked the night away, discussing topics of mutual interest, and he told me about the things he experienced in some Eastern Europe countries and in India, and about his connection with some really esoteric and secret people and societies. He told me that he had read some books and tombs which were prohibited or attempts had been made to try to destroy them a long time ago. I cannot describe the pleasure I had when he expressed his unbelievable theories about the background of most of the things which are assumed to be superstitions, with proof cited from the things he had read in some of the ancient in some of the ancient sources. For a long time I lived alone amongst ordinary people and cannot describe the empty feeling that I always felt within me. From now on, I think that I will not have such a problem anymore. In life, it is really hard to find someone who you can speak with, even within your own family. I told Ivor this from the bottom of my heart and encouraged him to visit me whenever he likes. For the next month in March, before tending to the outdoor areas, I decided to restore the interior of the house. To do this, I was assisted by the original blueprints. While I was checking the antique furniture last night in order to decide what to throw away, I found one carved wooden statue and a strange wall-like dig whose opening was carefully covered with a single piece of rusty metal plate and some wooden blocks. I had not checked this room before since its key was not given to me with the others. I might have noticed this beforehand, but I didn't have the time to get the keys, being busy with the company agreements, and the man from whom I bought this house was abroad traveling. Incidentally, there is another point that I can't continue without mentioning. The room, which oddly enough contains a well, has no electric wiring. It is really strange that in contrast, all of the other rooms have electricity, so I had to light up the room with some lanterns which I had found amongst the old furniture of the house. I felt a slight cold drought coming from within the carefully covered wall, and occasionally heard some rattling sounds, but because I didn't have a strong enough flashlight, I couldn't examine the situation down below. I even threw a few small wooden blocks down, but only heard sounds which made me think that the ground at the bottom was covered with mud. As soon as possible, I'm going to buy a stronger flashlight and try to examine down below. There isn't even the slightest clue regarding the reasons for digging such a well. Maybe it is an entrance to an underground room which was dug for the purpose of taking shelter during an extraordinary situation, such as a war. I wanted to take a look down there, but the ladder at the side seemed too rusty and flimsy. I decided that trying it would be too dangerous, so I tried to find another way, but I couldn't find anything useful at the time. The carved wooden statue is a complete enigma. I have no idea what it depicts. Whenever I hold it, due to reasons that I can't comprehend, I feel that it is very ancient. It was carved smoothly from a species of tree that I don't recognize, and it contains a secret compartment. I think that I unintentionally did something because it opened by itself, or maybe it was already open. I'm not sure. There was nothing in the secret compartment. It was completely empty. Oddly enough, I felt that it had once stored something very precious. In addition, a beautiful yet subtle smell is dispersing from within the secret compartment. I cannot tell what it is, but maybe if it's some type of incense. Well, duh. Okay. 21 days later, I think I've really started to get used to the house. During the first weeks, although I even hid this from myself, I felt like I wasn't going to get used to being here. I was jumping at every creak and cautiously listening to every sound. I kept waking up because of some excessively dense, strange smells whose source I couldn't identify, and then I wasn't able to get back to sleep again. Yes, this may sound childish, but this house has a genius loci that is really effective. As if all the creaks are heard within, and all these musty smells are alien. Maybe some of the stories that I have heard from some of the local people have influenced my thinking. The importance of those stories, most of them being related to the old owners of the houses, seem too much for the local people. When they talk about these matters, the tone dominates their voices that is a mixture of awe and reverence, and as though they are afraid of being heard, that they start to whisper. According to these stories, this quarter is one of the first settlements of the Wells Moth, and for this reason the houses which are standing now are the reconstructed or at least vastly restored versions of the old original ones. There was a special purpose for trying to keep some of the houses intact, and they are too tight-lipped about this purpose. They mention some connections and deep wells like the one I found in my house, but they refrain from describing the purpose of these. If I investigate further, I hope to learn more about these connections or deep wells. How many pages? Oh, okay, this is the last one. Yeah, so he hadn't spoken to his brother for 4 months. It's probably the last journal entry that he had made. I had to double check to see when he was discovered. Oh, my bad, guys. I didn't mean to kick it. Like, my bad. Okay. I've completed all the preparations for the restoration and hired a confident and experienced team that will start working next week to change all the inner wood planking and wallpaper. I hope that with these changes I can stop all those musty and other unknown smells. I can't say that Ivor likes this restoration process. He asserted that such changes are going to destroy the original genius loci, and he argued with me on this for a long time. For some reason I could not understand. I can't stop thinking about that he was more angry than he let on. Yes, I know that he is really sensitive about such topics, but I can't change his opinions. I told him that this is going to be a restoration that is based on the original design. I'm not going to change my mind about this. As soon as possible, I want to have the restoration process completed. Yeah, and then you dead, fool! You die. He died. Oh. There you go, my head's not cut off anymore. So, when was that last journal entry? The 21st April, okay. No, that's not what I meant to press. He was 35. Okay, that's relatively young. So they did list it as a murder, which doesn't explain why they had interred him so quickly. So... Oh, it's suspected that it was Loath Nolder. Is that who he was visiting? Who was visiting him? Huh. Okay. Go on. You can do it. I trust in you. Let's go to this creepy house. Be creeped. Creep. This place welcomes one with a threatening sulk. You reach it by climbing through serpentine and shady tunnel-like streets where the houses bulge and lean against each other. The hostile natives peer out of windows and doors furtively. Great. Cool. The interior looks much different than the exterior would suggest. It looks so mysterious. I think I could find something here. Well, I hope so. Considering if you don't, I'll be upset. You took me to a creepy ass house. Only not to find anything. Some bullshit. I just have to like walk, like look past a window. Now the side you just see your face peering in at you, like, oh. This door is not locked. I think there's something behind it that blocks it. Well, what was your first clue? What, it didn't budge but the handle turned? Huh. Yeah, I'm not... Something's gonna jump out at me. I'm gonna be so upset. Nice couches, my bro. There's a note written on the back of the photo that reads Jonathan and Clark Fields. Mr. Fields said that his brother did not get along. It's the only family picture here, okay. Oh, what? Did you hear that? Something went thump and I'm not ready. These are Mr. Fields' notes, so my notes were not the complete set. Cool. God, this is gonna suck. I don't wanna die. Huh. Okay, so this is like about 3 weeks after his last entry. For the past 2 weeks, I was out of town because of my job, and when I returned feeling tired, I learned that the restoration had not been completed due to the sounds that some of the workers suggested came from the cellar. This incident made me really angry, and I immediately obtained a strong flashlight in order to find out what these superstitious vagrants may have been afraid of. My purpose was by using the old rusty ladder to go down and just take a look down there. But it didn't matter how many steps down I took, the ground continued to be concealed in the claustrophobic pitch darkness of the wall. A short time later, I noticed the opening of a horizontal tunnel. I entered the tunnel to check it. I don't know how long I stayed in there, wondering why and when this worm-like burrow was dug, but when I decided to proceed, I felt that my legs were aching. After moving forward a short distance, I reached a wide chamber which was full of blood-curdling, strange statues. On its walls, you could see signs of some erased and now, to a great extent, unreadable writings. Are wall paintings. The air was dominated by some kind of thick, decaying smell, which caused me to cough frequently. From the opening of the tunnel on the right and left walls of the chamber, there was some kind of statues, which looked almost alive, so much so that just for a second I thought they would rise and start to walk, which I thought depicted saurian-headed creatures with the bodies of men. There was another figure which seemed to depict a ruler similar to the hybrid statues on the walls. He was sitting on his throne and watching one of these creatures being sacrificed. This scene was depicted with such realism that no one could look at it without feeling a sense of... I wasn't done with that yet. creepy ass house in this creepy ass neighborhood. Creepy, creepy motherfucker. Oh god. Couldn't look at it without a sense of terror. When I got close to this figure sitting on its throne, I noticed that some kind of smoke was leaking in from the gaps that were behind the concrete statue, or concrete throne. In fact, this was not easily discerned because if not for the wind which was blowing the smoke inside, I wouldn't have noticed it at all. I heard some sounds coming from behind those gaps, which allowed the wind and smoke to enter. The presence of these gaps made me believe that there may be other chambers below that one. If so, this could be an important archaeological discovery. I jumped with fright on hearing some noises that were certainly coming from beyond the tunnel in the depths of the pitch-black wall. I immediately entered the tunnel, intent on locating the source of the noises. In spite of my strong flashlight, visibility was limited, though through wary eyes, it may have been a momentary illusion or the enormously magnified shadow of a rat being illuminated by my flashlight beam, but I think I saw something moving down there. I jumped with fright because of this, but only later would I realize that the thing that shocked me and caused me to wake up from nightmares and listening, shivering to the sounds that came from beyond the darkness that, like a thick blanket, covered the places where merciful moonlight cannot reach. While I attempted to see something with my flashlight within the gluttonous darkness, I heard a feeble voice that came from some faraway place calling out something like "come." The voice was very similar to that of Ivor's familiar low-pitched voice. I wanna slap a big nope on that one. Through the effect of that shock, I threw my flashlight into the into the dense and dreary darkness, because I don't need this. I don't need this. And with both hands free, I dashed it to the cold, damp, and rusty metal ladder, which at the time seemed to me as though it was eons old. While I was climbing up, and without daring to look down, I caused a piece of the ladder to be broken off and fall into the pitch darkness. Maybe because of the comforting feeling provided by this incident, I managed to reach the top and get out of the well. The next morning when I woke up into my bedroom bathed in sunlight, I thought that all these events were just delusions merely caused by excessive weariness and insomnia. I reached another conclusion. Maybe Ivor was right about the restoration. This sort of place is has very important features invisible to the naked eye. Hence, I decided to leave the house as it is now. I'm not going to make any further efforts to restore the house. I wouldn't make any further efforts to live in the fucking house. Like, you brave soul. Oh, God. I'm probably gonna stop it here in a little bit. Fair warning. Because I don't want to file too large to try to download or upload onto my YouTube. So, I gotta sneeze, guys. Jesus. I hear you clanking. Is this to the what? Nope. We're not doing this part yet. I'm gonna go look at the rest of the house, but whenever I hear that noise of like, I'm gonna slap a big ass nope on that. Okay, it's a grandfather clock. There it is, okay. An unreadable paper. What do you mean unreadable? Huh. Pieces of paper and furniture randomly scattered around. It's a fucking bird. Why we gotta be the Good Samaritan? It looks like you've got a mold problem, sir. Can't do anything in there. Some of the rooms, including this one, have only been partially restored. The furniture has been placed haphazardly. I can't see dilly squat. Some rope. I got rope. That's a creepy statue. Like afraid to look around, like, oh, this will go drop out at me. God, why are you so loud? Oh, that was the bathroom. I don't need to go in there. It's humid in here. How is it humid in one part of that house and not in the other? And maybe it was because of this that mankind always tried and is still trying to overcome this obstacle with the help of some hallucinogenic substances. A lot of the carvings and petroglyphs show us the signs of mushroom cults that existed thousands of years ago. Understanding the soul metamorphosis demands examination of a far more complex and esoteric thought systems. Together with the asserted theories required by these systems, it is obvious that the soul metamorphosis is not a state that can be achieved simply through the process of altering the state of consciousness. It appears that from the illusions which were found in some of the ancient texts, the information that the characteristics of the state is insufficient and leads to even more confusion. But again, a consociate point becomes apparent. This is the probability that the hallucinogenic substances, which can be seen in most of the ancient documents, drawings, and carvings, may serve as a key or catalyzer. The most important examples of these can be seen in the stories that are told by the secret Eleusinian mysteries in the Kokoyan drink, which were used in these rituals. That they were very important in this respect. At this point, I want to continue with some examples from the strange and some parts confusing book of the notorious German writer, philosopher, and alchemist Wolfgang Schneider, who lived during the latter part of the 14th century and because of his radical thoughts about religious topics, was burned at the stake when he was 68. This book, that was translated into our language as Eclipse of the Soul, is really hard to find presently and is believed that original copies can only be found in certain major libraries. In the book, the parts which deal with a very ancient esoteric belief called Deversey. I probably butchered the dickens out of that, but okay. That was said to be directly related to the metamorphosis of the soul and are particularly interesting. According to the book, in the belief, the starting and the ending phases of the metamorphosis of the soul process are depicted with the eclipse of the sun. The writer asserted that this belief is based on an ancient oral tradition doctrine, but he also claimed that he had intentionally kept secret the sources which led him to this information. The information necessary to research this topic would not be found due to the secretive attitude of the writer. Yet, according to some ethnologists, signs of this kind of belief are present in the world. Another source that the writer used for proving his assertions must be mentioned and cannot be ignored. The source is a series of parchments called the Summoning the One Who Lies Beneath. What? Like, what is this? The people messing with a Ouija board. Like, why is this a good idea? Why would we do this? Because we're dumb. Throwing it out there. He claimed that the originals had been written in 4839 BC by an Egyptian priest using strange hieroglyphics and some unknown symbols that are not hieroglyphics. He further emphasized that the one he possessed was just a copy of the original brought by him from Cairo and might be dated 2200 BC. This parchment could not be found despite widespread searches by contemporary mystics. There is speculation that even if a parchment like this really exists, it probably resides in the collection of some rich occultist. The summoning the one who lies beneath is thought to be a compilation describing some preparation and rites written by an unknown occult that worshipped Apip and opposed the Mayat. This is according to some Egyptologists, although there are some who disagree with them. The important thing here is once again the allusion to the use of hallucinogens. We know that there were mushroom cults in the Sahara Desert 7,000 to 9,000 years ago, owing to the carvings and petroglyphs. The fact that the texts and the diagrams in the book completely corroborate these historical truths proves that what Wolfgang Schneider had written about the summoning of the one who lies beneath may be true. Okay, so asterisks. The Eleusinian Mysteries were annual initiation ceremonies for the cult of Demeter and Persephone, based on Eleusis in ancient Greece. Of all the mysterious celebrations of ancient times, these were held by the ones of great importance. These myths and mysteries began around 1500 BCE and later spread to Rome. The rites cultic worshipped and beliefs were kept secret, for initiation rites united the worshipper with God and included promises of divine power and rewards in the afterlife, because everybody needs that. Kaikon was an ancient Greek drink made mainly of water, barley, and herbs. It was drunk at the Eleusinian Mysteries. Apip was a deification of chaos and darkness, and thus opponent of light and Miat. In ancient Egypt, Apip was seen as a giant snake, crocodile, serpent, or in later years, in a few cases, as a dragon. Miat was an ancient Egyptian concept of truth, justice, order, and balance, and also goddess who was the personification of this concept. Cool. I can't get into there. I can walk over here though. Ooh. Does this mean I can open a drawer? What's in here? Because I can't really see it. What is that sound? Oh my god! No. See, my heart stopped. I can't. Why? Why is that sound necessary? can't tell me there's nothing in this drawer. So, I'm pushing about like an hour and 40 minutes here. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here, and I will pick it up on Monday. Because I'm going to work this weekend and I want to spend some time with my hubby. So I don't got time to play no games. Literally. So yeah, no, we'll leave this lovely game where it is. Oh no, stop. Save it. The note files. just, just so I know exactly which one it is. I'll leave it there. We'll come back to it on Monday. I'll do a little bit of a back-to-back like I did today on Monday. I'm going to, because I'll have more time because I don't do my Uber stuff on Mondays. So, but yeah, no, that's some fun, guys. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. And if you liked it, great. If not, let me know. Drop a suggestion in the suggestion box. I am putting this video on YouTube, so comment down below, watch it on YouTube, and let me know what you think. I'll put in the description a link to the game on Steam and stuff, and yeah. I shall see you guys later. Peace.